What was your relationship like with Kevin Sumlin?
My relationship with Kevin Sumlin was great. He was my dog. He rode for me hard. He went to bat for me. He went to war for me in a multitude of different scenarios. I think where our relationship fell out a little bit is, how do you have a guy who's a grown man who, I look back on this now, reflective in this. How do you have a guy who's a grown man, telling me what I should do? Obviously, my coach, my guy I'm looking up to, my head football coach, is telling me to live a certain way and put all this party and this behind you. But if you know anything about Kevin Sumlin, it's what he's doing behind the scenes.
Oh, he's partying too?
So from my eyes,
so you say, I'm
it's
just doing
hypocritical.
What you doing, we party together.
We're a 40-40 club in New York.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We in the back room playing pool with Ace of Spades. We're chilling.
Right.
Coach is there. This is what he does. So now looking back at it, it's hypocritical to me. And our relationship is great and will forever be great. And I do not sit here today as a judge of a man, a judge of a person who helped get me to the point of where I wanted to be in life. By no means whatsoever. I'm calling a spade a spade.
Right.
And I'm just going to be and give the God's honest truth as what I know it to be.
Right.
That ruffles some feathers, so be it.
Right.
It's the way the world goes.
Are you surprised that he hasn't got a head coaching job?
No.
You're not surprised?
Mm-mm.
Why?
I think what made Coach Sumlin so great is no longer really with him right now where his focus is. I think life has gotten the better of him a little bit. And I'm a prime example of, I don't want to sit up here and be a preacher, I don't want to sit up here and tell anybody they're living wrong or anything like that, because that's what it used to feel like me back in the day
when they were
people
trying
were
to
doing
kill
that
Johnny.
to me. So I don't see the same spark. I don't have much of a relationship anymore with him anymore. We'll reach out and talk like here and there, maybe once a year, but not like I have the relationship with my other coaches. And my gut instinct and feel is, and I know this because of instances that happened when I left. All right, I'm leaving to go to the draft, and I'll paint a picture for you. It's the spring of 2014, December 2013, right in there about December, January. I'm getting ready to make this decision on if I'm going to the NFL draft or I'm going to stay. And I found this out 5 years later from my dad. But my dad went and had a meeting with Kevin Sumlin and pretty much went to him man to man and was like, we'll take $3 million and we'll stay for the next 2 years. And my dad says this is true as today as he did when he told me. He left. He did the same thing that he did when Cliff Kingsbury asked him to be the highest paid offensive coordinator the year before. And Cliff would have stayed with me another year and we would have ran it back and gone for another one.
Right.
But he comes to Sumlin, he asks him for X amount. Sumlin, he had this ego about him that what we built, was all him.
Right.
And then you start that next year, okay? I leave, decide to go to the NFL. This deal doesn't work. Kevin Sumlin kind of blows us off. We can do this without you type of vibe, okay? So the fall comes around, 2014 A&M football season. Kenny Hill is named our starting quarterback. We win our first 5 games of the year. We're 5-0. We're top 10 in the country. I ain't getting no love in the program.
Yeah, because I'm thinking, I remember hearing it, and they talking about Johnny who?
Who?
Because I think he had
South Carolina, 5 touchdowns, first game of the season.
Okay. So you remember hearing it also. So hold on, I want to make sure, I got to backtrack.
Yeah, back it up.
You said your dad went to Kevin Sumlin.
Yep.
And says for $3 million.
We're staying for 2 more.
Now, you do realize this is prior to NIL.
I agree.
So this is a backroom deal.
It went on for 30, 40 years before. It was the same way that was happening when you was getting recruited back in the day.
And you guys, y'all, Texas A&M got money Texas A&M, nobody got no money like Texas A&M. Y'all got the big dogs.
Ring, baby.
Y'all got the big dogs. And so $3 million, if he had gone to any of the boosters and said, you know what?
Done.
Johnny's dad said he'll stay for an additional 2 years if we just break him off $3 million.
Just keep it, cash, throw it somewhere. We'll get it later. We don't need it right now.
Right.
But for my security, if something happens for 2 years down the road,
right.
And my dad did this without me knowing. And I ain't mad at him about it for nothing. It's the way the business worked back then.
Right.
There was a bag man. There was a bag man at LSU. There was a bag man at Bama. There was a bag man at every school around the country if you were competing for a national title. It is what it was. And it was always that way until we're into the NIL portion of everything now, the way it should be. What if I told you that after Cliff Kingsbury left and I won the Heisman that I thought about maybe going somewhere else too?
How much it was going to take for them to break you off for you to even consider it?
I don't know at that point in time. You know, I was thinking about like, you know, I loved A&M but this way that like.
Could you feel the shift?
Could I feel the shift? I don't know. I could see that I was getting used a little bit into what they needed me to do to have their master plan, right? A&M had their vision of what they needed with this hype and this success to get the program as a whole where they needed to be. Unfortunately, where they needed to go and where I needed to go and grow as a human being and as a football player weren't always step in step. They weren't always aligned.
Right.
Do I have hard feelings about it or do I feel any kind of way about it right now? Absolutely not. I love my school. I love what happened. I love walking back into that stadium and feeling like I had a piece of putting one of these bricks in the walls outside. And I can carry myself and say that. I don't think it's the house that Johnny built.
That's what they call it.
They can call it what they want.
You gotta like that.
Like?
Yeah.
That's disrespectful to Mike Evans. That's disrespectful to Jake Matthews.
Well, Mike Evans, they didn't call Mike Evans Mike Football. They call you Johnny Football. They didn't call Jake Matthews Luke Jokel.
Okay, so I get the praise for what we do as a team because my play is special on the field.
Let me ask you a question. When you were a little kid, they're like, all right, who want to play O-line? Raise your hand. Who want to play DB? Raise your hand. Who want to play quarterback? Exactly. Okay. They chose the position that they wanted.
So it's a positional thing. You're giving the quarterback the rightful piece of the pie.
Now, which one of those guys was flying private?
Probably just me.
Yeah. Okay, who was buying jewelry cars?
Probably just me.
Yeah. Well, who was hanging with Drake and James, sitting courtside at James Harden?
It's definitely just me.
Yes, now you understand. It was the house that Johnny built.
Okay, so you put it that way, I mean, you ain't never gonna get me to admit to it.
But help me understand this, John. I'm trying to figure out how you get suspended for half a game. I mean, that's like I'm gonna suspend you from school, but you don't have to come to first, second, and third, but you get to come fourth, fifth, and sixth.
You know what I asked? I asked if I could be suspended for the second half because we'd be up so much in the first half.
Right.
They said no.
I mean, so what was it like knowing that you're not gonna play the first half, and then you got to come in? You come in cold the second half.
Nerve-wracking. Really, really, the height of any nerves that I've ever had other than that Bengals game that I started my first game in the NFL.
Want to join Club Shay Shay? Become an official member by hitting that subscribe button, where you never know who's going to be joining us for drinks and conversation. Don't be late to the party because you know we like to do something before two something.